Watch out there. Hey everyone, welcome to Hardcore Enduro, where it's all about getting out and riding the hard stuff. I'm George, the guy behind the bars and the voice behind the mic. And we got a good one today. We're racing up in Georgetown on the Fool's Gold Sprint Enduro put on by the California Enduro Riders Association. Fantastic group, put on just an awesome ride. And I've been wanting to do a enduro ride through the woods, some woods riding. I do a lot of desert riding, and I thought, you know, I fall in the desert. It's time to dump the bike in the forest. Beautiful day up here. It was nice and cool. It rained on us just a tad bit, kept that dust down quite a bit. And here we are. So here's the start of the race. I didn't know that in the beginning. They have you line up. I was 3B, so I got off third. And actually 2B never showed up, so I got off second in the B group. And I didn't know, but that first segment was just a transition segment, so that didn't even matter. And you drive. We rode about 3 or 4 miles before the actual first test, which I guess I know now better. I know better now. But that was a good warm up, anyways, and it sets the mood for the race. This is actually my second loop, though. All my footage today is my second loop. I was just warmed up. I knew the course a little bit better, so I was riding a little bit faster, and for me, it was my better half of the ride. The second loop was a better ride for me. So the way a sprint enduro works, if you haven't been one, you've been thinking about doing a sprint enduro, is you got a laid out course of this one was about 35 miles total, but they can vary. I mean, each sprint enduro can be different. And you got one course, like it's one ride, but they're only timing you in certain sections. Look at this little muddy creek crossing right there. Yeah, I was saying this loop too, so it was a little bit more clapped out than the first loop, but you know, I was riding good this loop too. I was riding fast. I'm still gonna get past quite a bit though. As fast as I was going, there's guys going a lot faster. Anyways, so the sprint enduro, you got certain sections that are timed, and in between those sections that are timed, they got just transition sections, and you can take your time. There's no rush. You can get water, you know, get food, take your helmet off, rest, whatever you got to do to get ready for the next test. There is a cutoff, so you got to finish all the tests. There's 3 tests you go through twice. And you got to finish that. I think the cutoff was 2 o'clock or 1:30 or something like that, which is plenty of time. You really have a lot of time. I mean, you got like several minutes. I'd say 5-10 minutes you could take in between each test. So that and there's plenty of time to get to the next start. But all right, so the race itself is very tight. You see through the woods here. You got Manzanita. There's a lot of rocks, but not overly rocky, I would say. Like compared to Virginia City, it was just horrible with the rocks. The little, you know, golf ball and baseball side rocks. It was just really bad. But nice. Oh, almost missed this turn. Nice, just single track. If you're looking to ride it's not a hard enduro, but it is definitely a hard single track, I'd say. Then you're going race pace. That makes everything harder because you're going at your limit most of the time, and it just adds that excitement, that fun factor that you don't do on your normal trail ride. And I just, like last weekend, I did a pretty hard trail ride, and just slow, took my time, building conditioning, working on my skill. Whereas, you know, you go to the race, and this puts it all to the test, so you got to see how that goes when you're going fast. The bike performed really good today. I had a little problem shifting. I have a problem staying on the damn course. It's just zig and zag. I mean, we're going uphill right there. Yeah, it's back on the bike a little bit. It's so tight through here. Through the Manzanita, through the trees, your bars are like, I don't know, an inch. Sometimes they're grazing the trunks and the branches of the course. It's really, really tight. Yeah, they call it the Fool's Gold Sprint Enduro, but I'm like, hey, they should call it the Twisty. sprint enduro because it was just twisty as hell.
Definitely a lot more rutted in.
So loop 2, this is my loop 2 footage, y'all. So it's really rutted in, and some of the turns are a lot more powdery, where they're chewed up, which on the tight track, I think it helps it out and you get more grab. Well, it's just, I say that and then I go off the trail naturally. So back to the problem with the bike, I had a problem shifting. My shift lever is just getting really worn out, it flops around. So when I go to shift it, there's so much play in it, you really got to get a good push on it to make it shift. And so whenever I'm trying to get up to a second, from a first to a second, it's several times it goes into neutral, and then it won't go to second. So then I got to push it back to first, and then back, try to get that hit hard to second. So I do have an extra one in my box. I should have put it on before the race, but you know how things go. You pre-check everything, and you still don't get it all. So I gotta get it on the next ride. So tight through here. There was so many times, that I had so many close calls as far as hitting the bars. Some people shave their bars a little bit closer. I know some of those East Coast guys will shave the bars. You know, it makes it a little narrower, and you can fit through the trees because they got a hell of a lot of trees. And I can see why. There was many times my asshole was puckered. I was like, oh, and then you'd sneak on through or just graze it like that, right? I mean, it's so close. Now I started 3B today. My goal was to catch some A riders. Yeah, that never happened. I never caught any A riders, and then the B's started passing me. So then my goal switched from catching an A rider to not getting passed by all the B riders. And I did have one C rider pass me, but he was really fast. But I think I did all right. I didn't see the final standings. Look how rutted and rocky it is through here. It's just awesome single track. I'm telling you, if this wasn't a race, if you were just out here riding, this would just be amazing. Now the area is Georgetown Off-Road Recreational Area, and I'd definitely put this on your list to come check out. It's a little bit of a far drive from us. It took me 5 hours to get up here with the rig, and but it's just a fun. You can spend a weekend here. There's a ton of trails that the guys are telling me they're just even better than these. So I definitely would like to come back here. They had a hell of a winter like everyone else did, and just a ton of fallen logs. It was supposed to be a different race this weekend. This one was supposed to be early in the year, and it got pushed to this weekend. And because of all the fallen trees and debris they had to clear out for the race, during the race you can see a lot of the logs and stuff that they moved and cut out. And just a lot of work by the volunteers and the club that put this on. So kudos to them. There's a little downhill right here, and there's a jump here. I almost was gonna hit that harder, but yeah, plowing through the trees. I'm used to plowing through bushes and bulldogging my way through, so you're welcome, everyone else. Tight, sandy turns. All right, so I got a little uphill. Has some nice little uphill and downhill with terrain. Roots, a lot of roots sticking out. Just awesome. The tire I'm using, look at this. Now, of course, the camera doesn't show. It's really, those roots stick out quite a bit. But you just keep your momentum up, and the bike goes right over them. I got my Ibex, my Kenda Ibex rear with the plushy moose insert. Fantastic. I was really happy with it. Just had so much traction today. Felt good. Suspension felt great. I went 3 clicks softer on my compression in the front from my last ride, and my suspension felt really good today. See the fallen trees right there? There's a bunch of trees, And I know it's a sprint enduro. It's not supposed to have any super hard obstacles, even though this Lobster Rock area was pretty gnarly. I think it would take most of your average riders, it would take them out. But we were going downhill, so basically you didn't have to try too hard. You just let gravity do the work. But I was talking to one of the guys out here while we were resting before the next test started out, and told him I've done some hard enduro, and he's looking forward to the Donner as well as I am. And you know, they don't have enough hard enduro. Like, this was a hard sprint enduro. Like, I like this. Everyone here likes how technical this is. I wish clubs would try to start more local hard enduro races and not just wait for the National Hard Enduro Association to put it on. You know, I don't know why a normal club can't just put on their own thing, and kind of how like King of the Hammers, they just start doing it themselves. So that would be awesome, because I think Georgetown, Jawbone, you know, a lot of places people know about would be great for hard enduro. Because right now, hard enduro is just so spread out all over the country. If you want to race, you know, you're California, then you're Idaho, and then you're Pennsylvania, then North Carolina, and then you're Texas. And, you know, it's so widespread. It's hard to, you maybe hit one, maybe two, and then all the others are just too out of reach for you. I'd like to see clubs, if you guys are watching, start asking your members and the other people. Let's put on a hard enduro. There's that was an old timer guy, and he was doing really well. I did.
Old guy.
Yeah, he was up there. It's awesome to see riders keep on going. It gives me hope that I can keep riding for a long time, and that he's still in shape and able to ride. It's awesome. I mean, he's in really good shape if he's doing this. This is kicking my butt. I keep looking back. Riders come up and they'll rev on you, you know, and it's so narrow through here. There's no place to pass. You know, you can't make a hard path like hare and hounds and the hare scrambles. Usually, you can make a pass, or even a hard enduro. You can find a line to get around people, but this little sprint enduro, it's just so tight. There's nowhere to pass. So you need to be polite, which is just common sense. I don't say polite. It's just common sense. Let the guy get around you if he's riding your butt. So I keep looking back, and I start hearing phantom bikes. I don't know if this happens to everyone else, but I'm hearing phantom engine revs behind me. And I don't know if it's my bike. It's all a mental thing that I'm doing. But I keep hearing, and I keep looking, and there's nothing. I'm like, I could have swore I heard someone's engine or someone's bike, but there's no one there.
Tight squeeze, baby!
Ew! Yeah, this is so awesome. Look at the slope there, duck down. Had a couple trees real low like that where you had to duck down. Nothing. I mean, I didn't get too close, but it did make me think about my backpack, and it always catches branches. I was picturing my backpack catching something. Shake and bake, shake and bake. It's just bob and weave the whole way. A lot of these hard turns, you're like coming in hot, slamming on the brakes. It was a little hairy at times. You got a lot of, I mean, it's not exposure because all the trees are there, but my goal for today was not to slam face first into a tree. I did crash a couple times, but I did not go into a tree. I guess there was, at one point, the leader of the race, he smacked a tree, so I hope he was all right. Anyways, one of the volunteers told me that, so I hope he was all right. It can happen to anyone, even, you know, you're going fast. It doesn't take a big mistake to get you off the course here. Tell my buddy Kyle he would love this. I'm trying to get him to do a sprint enduro because this would be his style of riding. He'd love this. All right, there's someone behind me now. I can hear him revving. I'm gonna pull off left here. He gets around. So he started 30 seconds behind me, and then every other guy behind him would be 30 seconds after that. So when he get past, then I'm on the gas just to see if I can keep his pace. And it's just unbelievable. You know, I feel like I'm maxed out, and these guys are going a lot faster. Of course, they're probably in better conditioning. They're doing a lot more standing on the pegs. And some of the guys are local, so they've ridden these trails already, and a little bit home court advantage. But anyways, coming up, I get off the line a little bit. I'm going to dart in this little stump right there on the right, or right up here on the right. I mean, right there, a little stump. Bam! This gets out of my back tire, went right over it. Which is perfect timing because they allowed that guy to get around me. So I think it's God's way to slow me down a little bit. He got around, I hit the stump. Luckily, nothing bad, nothing major there, so I'll just keep on rolling. You can hear I was having a little trouble shifting there. Darn Trixie, she takes a beating. You know, this is a WR450. She's big, she's heavy, and she's been through a lot, so I never left me stranded. I'll say that. She's been a good bike. So coming up here is going to be a little tight tree section. I'm coming in hot, and you'll see how close these trees are. I'm going to hit it. Whoa, right here. Just that. I mean, that was so close on the left and the right, and then I'm coming in hot. Yeah, it's hitting the brakes, and luckily saved it. Dodged a bullet right there. Now I've cut out some of the flatter sections, but the whole race is pretty solid. Really tight single track, really just fantastic. I can't say that enough. They did just a couple kind of flat areas, kind of flat uphill climbs, which after all the twistiness and gnarliness of the trail, it was actually just a little bit of relief, a little bit of you could relax a little bit, at least for me anyways. Like here, just felt like this, just not that twisty. Didn't have to worry about slamming into a tree or anything like that. Now, the heavy bike, it's just, I'm not so good at bobbing and weaving. Just like right here in this turn, lose my balance, go up on the left. Oh, almost clipped that log on the ground. If I would have clipped that log, whoo, over the bars. Dodged another one. That was two saves, real close together. All right, it's hairy out here, folks. I had a couple bridge crossings. And I've seen videos of people underestimating the bridge and how slippery they can be. So every time I crossed a bridge, I made sure that I wasn't going to fall. Of course, it wasn't wet, but it did rain a little bit later. I mean, just a light rain, enough to keep the dust down and get your goggles a little bit wet. So I was thinking about those crossings on the bridge and making sure I wasn't going to slide out on them. What a beautiful scenery. Look at how green everything is. The ground just looks great. Just that neon green from the leaves and the underbrush. It was just a gorgeous ride. Look at those cut up logs right there. These volunteers put on this race, they had their work cut out for them. It must have been a mess. Little road crossing here, those little cement brick blocks in the trail. What the hell to call them? Cement blocks. You see them a lot, you know, and I know they're trying to prevent erosion and build up ruts, but I think they become a hazard. I'd rather just have it rutted out and be able to ride off the dirt because I'm always worried that they're going to be rolling on me, or they can get real slick if they get wet and get some moss build up. And I just don't trust them. I trust the dirt. So we're still on the first test. I didn't see the mileage of it. The total miles was 35 miles, and I believe test 1 was the shortest test, and then test 2 is a little bit longer than test 3. So here we're coming up to the end of test 1. So you'll stop here, and they'll write down your time on your little card on your fender, and then you transfer over to the next start the next race. And the transfer section here can be 3 or 4 miles, you know. So here we are, start of test 2. We're off. Let's go. This bite, baby. Let's go. Ah, she's off and running good. Starting to have a little rain come down on the goggles, so my visibility on this section is a little spotty towards the end. I was trying to wipe off my lens, and I didn't want to lift up the goggles because there was quite a bit of overgrowth that you could get something right in the eyeball, which I've done before, and I just don't want to get anything in my eye because that would be a bad day for me. Now when I race, I always wear clear lenses. I don't know if y'all do that too. When I trail ride, I'll have tinted lenses because I'm going a lot slower. It's just easier on my eye, stress relief for the eye. But when I race, always a clear lens, so I get maximum visibility. And then, as long as it's not fogged up, keep that sucker down so you don't get nothing poking your eyeball out. You can see those nice berms building in. You can really go fast through these sections. It really was grabbing. So here's some of that cement block. I don't trust it. I'd get rid of that cement block. They should. Somebody decided that. Somebody was sitting on a group, a committee, and they're like, you know what, we need cement blocks in the trail. What for? The dirt works pretty good. Well, we need cement blocks to stop the ruts from building up. Like, we like the ruts. They help you turn. They help you stay in the groove. Anyways, I'm anti-cement block if you didn't get that by now. Maybe someone will comment and tell me why cement blocks are so much better than just leave it at natural. I'm gonna leave it as it lays kind of rider, kind of guy. Just leave it. If a tree falls, rock falls, or if it washes, you just gotta ride the course as is.
Take control. A little out of control there, Trixie. Sorry.
So we're doing a little uphill climb, and just the front end is kind of going all over. I need to get my balance back. Gotta get up on those pegs. That's where I'm sitting down too much. I know this is loop 2, and I'm just out of shape. Can't stress enough. Need to get my conditioning better. Like, it needs to happen. Up on the pegs, just so much easier. There's a couple guys that passed me, and there's certain sections where we're sitting. You'll see loop 3. He's sitting, and as soon as he stands up, he's out of there. So I need to get my conditioning so that I can stay up the whole time, and I'd have a lot better balance on the bike. It's hard though, even through this tight stuff, you got this tendency to want to sit down and be careful. But standing up, it gives you more control of the bike, and you're not getting tossed around by all the bumps. So you're able to use your legs as suspension along with your bike suspension, and you're able to control the bike much better. Now, it's easier said than done. It takes some practice, and definitely you gotta have some conditioning to make it happen. Ooh, it's a tight line. Stay on that line, Georgie. It's just an awesome trail ride. It's so tight through here. Your handlebars are just so close to all the tree trunks. Ooh, look at that one. That was a close one there. love they had a lot of tree roots too. You know, in the desert you don't get any of these roots, and these trails are pretty well worn, and with the erosion of the rain, it exposes those roots pretty good. Not like the Pacific Northwest. I've seen some of the videos up in Washington, and they got some really gnarly, nasty root sections through the trails. But that was nice. So I've cut out some of the flat sections. There wasn't a lot of it. Just hardly. I mean, most of it was tight single track the whole time, but there was a couple just little look like service roads that just had you connect trails just a little bit. A lot of the there's some water breaks on these roads here. This is used to be, it looks like an old service road here. It's kind of overgrown, and they've added water breaks in there to keep the water from running it out. And they make good little jumps. There's a bunch that you can really go for it. The camera, it gets lost in the camera, but they were pretty good jumps. Here's a good one here. It just adds a little bit of fun. I don't do a lot of jumping, but you know, I'm like everyone else. It's fun to get in the air and try to send it even farther next time. I just can't control it. I'm not very good at controlling the bike in the air. Probably because I don't practice enough. I need to get out to the track more. There's a track about 30 minutes from my house. They're so darn expensive though. They're $25 a day to ride. I don't know if they do like a month or a year membership. Maybe that would save a lot of money, but $25 a day to ride, you know, a couple days, that adds up. That's super expensive. So, but it is close to my house, and I could do a couple training days. I think that'd be beneficial for me. It'd be fun. It'd be good for my endurance, and it'd just be good to learn how to be more in control, more confident when I'm going off a jump. Some of those turns, I don't know how people slide into them. You really slide into that turn with the A riders and double A's. I can't imagine. I'd like to see them go through here and just see how they're able to come in so hot into these turns and then just throw a mad roost going out of it. I'm all timid going in slow and easy on the gas and just looking like a noob going through the turns. Maybe that's what the track would help me out in my turns, I think, hitting those berms and ruts and, you know, keeping that power on in the turn, trusting the bike. Now right here, I crashed. This is loop 2. In loop 1, I crashed right there, so I'm going to go back to it. So this is loop 1. I hear someone rev. I look back, get off the line, and I crashed right into that broken stump. Luckily, that stump was old and rotted and gave way, but that's what I get for looking back. You know, someone revved at me, I looked back, and can't do that. You got to just keep looking forward and pull over and trust that that guy's going behind it. But like I said, I kept hearing phantom people. I'd swear I would hear a bike rev, or I'd hear them behind me, and I'd look and there would be no one there. So I guess it was just my time to fall. Sometimes it's just your time, you know. There's nothing you can do about it. Little steep downhill. Had that little fallen branch across. You know, never underestimate a log or even a branch going across, especially when it's at an angle. You don't know how that could be slick. I've slipped on like branches like 3 inches thick, so never underestimate any kind of log or branch in the trail. And usually you slip when you're on the gas. You know, if you're off the throttle and the tire just rolls over, usually you'll do fine. But if you're on that throttle, that tire has a tendency to slip when it goes over any kind of wood obstacle where it can be slick. Yeah, I'm saying I'm not good in the berms. I need to practice. I'm just talking about it right now. I need to practice, I guess, in the track somewhere so I can get comfortable riding in that berm, trusting my bike. That's a heavy bike. You know, the WR, this bike's 270 wet, and me at 215, 220 plus all my gear. You know, it's a lot of foot pressure on these tires. A lot of these guys at 2-strokes, or even they're just smaller guys, you know, there's a lot less weight, so it's easier to stop. You can stop faster. You know, it doesn't dig in. When you go into a berm, it doesn't have, the tire's just not as much foot pressure on it, so it doesn't dig down as deep. I guess I gotta lose some weight. If I were to lose about 15 pounds, I think that'd make a world of difference. All this chips and salsa and beer every evening, not doing my racing game any favors. I like these little straight sections here where you can get up some speed. You know, the bobbing and weaving, it's a lot. It's stressful. So get a little straightaway, just a little time to relax. It's like right here, it felt good, get some speed up. Now there were a little bit of whoops you'd have to worry about. Nothing major though, not like the desert. The desert is like the king of whoops. Even in Virginia City had a lot of whoops, but they're not like desert whoops. Desert whoops are just giant and they go on for miles and miles, and there's just no mercy. All right, there's I think he's an A rider, and he let me pass. He was resting at the start of the test, so he let me go ahead of him, taking a more of a breather. But I think I passed him a couple times, and he kept passing me back. He'd pass me back every single time. Good rider. You can see he's up. He's able to just bob and weave through the trees so much better than me. And I'm like amazed how these guys are able to do that. There's a little climb coming up, and I can see he just slowed down a little bit, got him, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna catch this guy. And then I let off the throttle for some reason. Maybe I got off, but right there, I was very choppy with some rocks, but I got off the throttle a little bit. You just stay on that throttle. What was I letting off for? Come on, George, you can do better than that. I always want myself to twist the throttle a little bit more. I need to go for it a little bit more. I got my suspension done. My bike was just feeling so good right now. And that rear tire just grabbing. There's a lot of confidence there in my bike at this point. Maybe I'm just exhausted. Shake and bake, shake and bake. It's close. It is trees. I mean, it's inches away from the handlebars at times. There's another one of them branches on the ground. That's just a little tiny guy, but I'm telling you, just don't underestimate them. They can bite you. Make your back end slip out and you weren't even thinking about it. The gears, I think I'm mostly in a third gear. Sometimes I'd go to second, and then of course on a slow, and the rocky section or something, I'll slow at first, but I was trying to stay in the third gear. The 450s they're just so torquey. You know, they're not an easy roll on throttle, and I could map it different. I haven't done that. I guess I should play around. I need to play around with the mapping on the bike. That initial grab, it is pretty linear in the power, I mean, but it's a lot of power right off the start. And that third gear makes it a little softer in the delivery. That's what I noticed big when I rode the 300 2-strokes, is they have torque, but it's a lot softer delivery of it, you know, so it's just not pulling you. Whereas this bike is kind of jerky. That power just, bam, just hits you. And, you know, you got to ease it. Use the clutch quite a bit to kind of ease that power or mitigate that power. There's all you guys are just saying, well, just go faster. Just more throttle, don't even slow down. Yeah, I just need to go faster, you know, that would solve a lot of things, just go faster. and I'm gonna get passed right here. It's a C rider, and he was the only C rider I saw that passed me. There might have been a couple more, but kudos for him. That's awesome. I don't know if he started at C's or if this is his first race. Sometimes your first race, you know, you'll start low, but he's clearly a good rider here. So he fits into the B's. He'll be, if not hitting an A rider level pretty soon. I feel like I'm a B minus rider. If I had a level, it'd be B minus. Just good enough, I think, to be a B. Here's a nice little uphill climb, hitting third gear, hitting all these little jumps off the water brakes. They're fun. I'm telling that new suspension is feeling nice. Before, I'd be a little soft. I'd be bottoming out really hard. And the new race tech, new valving, it's still really soft, but it doesn't bottom out like it did before. So going off the jumps, I have more confidence that it's just not going to be this harsh bam, you know, slam down on the suspension. There's a guy working on his bike. He's working on his bike, so I figure he's good. I don't know, maybe I should have stopped. Maybe I don't have any tools with me, so on the race days, I don't carry a toolkit. When I go solo, I do carry a toolkit. Figure on a race day, if anything major happened, I'm out of the race. Like there's nothing I can do. If anything minor happens, I can limp the bike back to the trailer. You know, either quit the race and just limp it back somehow. So, but that extra weight, the little tool kit that I carry, you know, it's just that little extra weight that I don't want to have to deal with as I'm trying to go fast and conserve energy on a race. But solo, you're going slow, the extra weight, not that big a deal. Nice little choppy hill climb here. We got some rocks go through. Little face getting passed right there on the lap 1. I went straight up the middle of that, which it was a pretty good little rock face there. This lap 2, I picked a little bit better line, I feel. Need to get on the gas a little bit more. I see that guy just kind of fly by me. You can hear my RPMs are just kind of low, and I think that's me from just all the trail riding I do. I'm just lugging the bike the whole time. I'm never really getting up in that throttle, and the racing is what makes you get up higher in the speed. And I need to get just a little bit. Those climbs the bike handles. I mean, the bike goes up the hill, no problem at all. I just need to get on the gas a little bit more. All right, so we're coming up to, call it Lobster Rock, I think. Just really gnarly, choppy series of step ups or step downs. We're going down, so step downs, and you'll see it's pretty gnarly. This would be fun going up. So if I ever come back here, I'd like to, you know, go up this hard enduro style. You find whatever the hardest way to go over an obstacle. Going pretty fast though, and this is gonna be burning your triceps. So I've been doing a lot more push-ups and dips in my gym, and I think that's helping my triceps. But they were still burning pretty bad, and because it's so choppy, I'm not gripping with my knees too much. You know, one way I save my triceps is that I'll pinch with my knees and carry, you know, have my knees carry my body weight so my triceps get a rest. Really bumpy. So it's just kind of this open area. See, there's rocks. Cut a little wide. Could have went to the right there. This is the bad section here. Went down the middle. I think the main line was left, but not too bad. You could just kind of let the bike go. I could have went a little bit faster and kind of sent it off some of these ledges, but staying in control of the bike. Last thing I'd want to do is fall here, and I'd probably break something here. The rocks, you know, the rocks aren't soft. You hear my breathing.
My triceps.
Yeah, the triceps burning. Some of the long downhills I've had on the Hare and Hounds, that loop 2 are really long. That really burns up your triceps because you're so tired by the end of the race. But this is awesome. The other sprint enduro I did out in the desert, the 100s MC they put on, that was a lot of fun, but they didn't have any hard obstacles like this, or hard sections where it was just, I mean, this is brutal. This is, for a sprint enduro, this is awesome. This would be almost to a hard enduro level. I mean, this little section here is almost hard enduro. Hard enduro, you'd be going up that though. They'd be like, all right, let's make it really hard. You got to go up that sucker. Last little bit here, and then it's gonna make a hard left, and it flattens out, and your arms are noodles by now, and they get a break. That was fun. That was such an epic session. Probably that was the best section of the whole race. That was awesome. It took a lot out of me though, and the test too. We still got a long ways to go to the end of this test, and that just, you know, took a lot out of me to get my arm. So now I got to take it a little bit easy, get my strength back.
Hard left.
Nice little drop down, little feed out there. There's a creek coming up, and there's a left, a right, and then a middle. And the middle has a rock that sticks out, and I'm going to go off of that. Remember, Max, this is really choppy through here. See that rock? Go off the middle of the rock. But I remember Max Gerston in one of his videos told the riders, you know, if you got to choose, always try to stay on the rock. If there's a big rock face or whatever, ride the rocks, and then, you know, instead of going down into the dirty rut or something like that. So even that little section, I know it wasn't a big deal. It didn't look like a big deal, but I always think about that now. Whenever I go to a section and there's the trail goes, one line goes one way, and there's a line that you can hit on a solid rock, I try to choose the solid surface rock now. Just because the dirt gets away, and you don't know if it's a, you know, rock with dirt sprinkled on top of it, makes it real slick. Bit of whoops through here. Gonna let a rider pass. That guy's got the bright green. He had a little happy face.
Got the backpack.
On the backpack, yeah. Like they had the little happy face on there. I got my little hardcore enduro sticker on the back of mine. Makes me think I need to put some little funny slogan on there or something like that. That guy just took off though. He's got better conditioning. He's up on the pegs. He's racing to win. That's what he's doing. I'm just racing to survive. Racing to finish the race. That is all I'm trying to do. Watch this right here. Oh, look back. Here, that's one of them. Oh, almost lost it. One of the phantom bikes I heard caused me to look back and almost crash again, just like I did previously, where I looked back right in turn, and then I lost it. That happens several times. I don't know if that happens to y'all. Just think you're hearing something, you look back, and then you instantly almost crash. All these fallen trees. Guys did a lot of work. I said it already, I'll say it again. They really put a lot of work to get this course ready for this race. And kudos to them. It was an epic course they have laid out here. Nice straightaways, get up to speed. This was low, so you can't stand here. So the Manzanita overgrows right there, and you had to sit. A lot of courses like that, whereas it's so tight, not just narrow, but there was a canopy overhead, and you couldn't stand, so you had to sit at certain sections. Yeah, here we are, the end of test 2. Made it. Got one more to go, folks.
Woo, survived.
And it's the longest one. Hey, little guy, I had to run out of the way. There was a long transfer from test 2 to test 3, it was a long transfer section. And the transfer sections are kind of fun. So that transfer, I can't even talk. Transfer section was a trail ride in itself. So that was fun. It wasn't always just a road or a service road. You actually got a fun little trail ride in between the race. That was kind of cool. I like that. On the 100s MC Sprint Enduro, all the tests kind of started in the same area. So when you parked your rig, you know, you'd start and then finish right there, and then you just move over like 100 yards and you start the next one. You know, open desert's a little bit different scenario than here in the mountains. So that was kind of cool, because then your family or your friends are there with you. They can see it start and finish every time, and you know, of course, in the desert they can see it for a long ways off. Whereas as soon as you take off in the mountains here, you know, you've disappeared, and then the finish, you know, you're off in the mountains. So my wife and son, they're just off doing their thing. They don't get any kind of spectator kind of experience here. Which, if I have one thing of advice for these race organizers, is you get family members coming to these events, and you gotta figure out some way to get them involved so they can see some of the racing. This is so awesome. Just watching it now, it makes me excited. This is good right there. But so the event organizers and race organizers, they need to somehow figure out a way to incorporate a spectator section for your friends and family, that you know, they don't have to go trekking off through the forest to find you 10 miles away from the rig. You know, they could loop the course back somehow, maybe each test or one test, you know, loop it out back around towards where people are parked. That way, you know, if you got friends and family, your kids, you know, your wife, girlfriend, whatever it is, they have a chance to see a race or see you riding. Now, hard enduros do a really good job about this. They'll have spectator areas, and of course, hard enduro, a lot of sections you're going like as fast as a turtle can walk. It's so hard. You could put on a show for 10 minutes trying to get over one rock, you know, and your family could be there just laughing at you the whole time or cheering you on.
Foot pegs, my boot slits.
Yeah, what I was saying is my foot pegs are pretty worn out. They're pretty rounded out. My boots keep slipping on them. And then I've kicked a couple tree trunks here, and it's ripped my boot off my peg, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't. So I need new foot pegs. I've been looking at a couple different brands. Fastway makes some good ones. They're all expensive. Raptor, I've been looking at the Raptor, and they're titanium, but god dang, they're $250, $300 for a set of foot pegs. I just don't understand why they're so expensive for that tiny little piece of metal. It's not a lot of material there, and there's no way around it. You can buy the cheap aluminum foot pegs, which will last a couple rides, and then they wear out real quick. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Raptors. They're titanium, and they should last a while. I know some people file theirs down, or they'll come with the little inserts that you can adjust if you want little sharper points on them, or little thicker ones. I don't have to deal with that. I have another bike that has those, and they pop off, they break off all the time. So I'm not impressed by them. So I think I'm gonna go with the titaniums. They should hold their sharpness much. They're still lightweight, and they're strong, and I won't be sharpening them all the time.
Ooh, that thigh. Feel that little pre-cramp tingle. Got that little tingle in the thigh.
Yeah, my left thigh is starting to cramp up a little bit. You're starting to feel it pull.
Alright, so last leg. No mistakes. Speed run. Awesome race. I'm definitely putting this on my list next year. It is just awesome. Yeah,
so this is, like I said, it's the second time through here, and got off course a little bit there. You're tired making mistakes at this point, and for me, my attitude is just to make a clean run, you know. Of course, don't want any injuries, don't want to have anything bad happen. Just stay on the course. Still got a long ways to go, and body fatigue is going to play a role with cramping and just, you know, keeping the balance on the bike. Coming up here is a left, and then it's a good little climb, good little rocky climb. And first time through, went through no problem. This time I don't downshift, and I got my RPM just a little too low. I'm fatigued, and it had it flamed out. Got past. I hate getting past on a climb. There he goes. If I just would have downshifted, would have had no problem. Well, I mean, nothing on this whole race was over the top extreme. Nothing over my level, I'd say. Definitely fitness plays a huge factor in my racing, but skill level wise, I was pretty, I mean, I was having a good time. Nothing was so scary. Let two riders go by. Got double passed. Nothing like building your confidence getting passed. I didn't do hardly any passing. I think this entire race I passed two people. I gotta get better. I gotta get faster if I want to be passing people, I guess. Ah, I got passed a third time. My goal, this is the last leg. My goal was to not get passed on the last test. But there's three guys just right by me. I almost overshoot this turn. Had a couple of turns like that where you're just coming in hot, and then had to go left or right real quick. Bobbing and weaving. Now, through here, I kept seeing little poofs of dust. You know, see that little puff of dust ahead of you. It's like smelling blood in the water. You're like, oh, I'm catching the guy. See the dust up there? I'm like, oh, maybe he's struggling a little bit, and I'm going to get him. It's like, so then it'd motivate me just to, instead of laying off, you know, I'm almost to the end of the race, and I was thinking about, I should just really start cruising now. But seeing that little bit of dust kept my motivation going. I was, oh, maybe I can get it back. Here's a fun little climb. It's got a bunch of those little water diverting hills there. Get some air off of them. Really got to come in hot. This to be, you know, third gear. Got to really just come in a little bit hotter than I'm going. Finally, I catch this guy. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta make my pass. But he hears me, and he doesn't let me pass. I was like, oh no, he's gonna make me work for it. He's just teasing me. He's like a fisherman. That's the lure. I'm the fish. He just teased me. I try to get up next to him, and then he just takes off again. I look back, so he knows I'm back there, and then he just takes off. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. He goes, man, he just takes off, and I won't get him. So dang it, I thought I was gonna make my pass, but it never happened. Let everyone down. Let myself down. Didn't pass them. Motivation just went down. Woo. I'm trying to. I'm still trying to go for it. It's like he keeps teasing me. Just messing with my mind.
Stay on course. Man, that guy is good at bobbing and weaving.
He is. He's just He just disappeared. I'm like, I was just behind him, and then he just shaking bake. He's like, bam, 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 and just took off. You know the movie Finding Nemo, when Nemo gets captured by that boat and his dad starts swimming after him, and then he's following the trail of bubbles from the boat, and the bubbles get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then finally they just disappear. That's what happened here. The dust got less and less. The guy's gone. I never catch him again. So now I'm thinking, all right, I don't want to get past. So now my goal is don't get past to the finish line. It's got to be close. You only got a couple miles to go. And go. Don't let anyone else pass you. My arms are real tired. I think my legs have been cramping up. And I'm just kind of gritting through it right now. It's got to be tough. If you ride dirt bikes, you got to be tough, you know. Especially you're racing, your body gets fatigued. Now, I know I said I didn't want to let anyone pass me, but here comes somebody. I hear him do a little rev on me. There he goes. Damn it! We gotta be close. No more, no more. That was it. That was the last one. No one else has passed me. Riding in the dust too, right at the finish line. I was like, oh man, really I gotta ride in the dust right at the finish. Nice little climb through there. These guys are good riders. On the Loop 2 of Hare and Hounds, it's more technical, and some of those climbs really take people out, and I'll do a lot of passing, not in those sections, but here, of course, your momentum, there's short little hill climbs. If they had like a massive hill climb, I'm sure it'd be a different story. But these little short little climbs, you know, your momentum, as long as you carried a little momentum, you made it up pretty easy. If y'all are hearing a little boop, that's my baby monitor next to me. I got my son in my crib. He's been taking a nap for about an hour now, and he just rolled over on his back. I hope he stays asleep just a little bit longer. It's tough, folks, trying to get these voiceovers on the video. I mean, video editing in general just takes a long time, especially if you got several hours of video captured and you're trying to whittle that down into an hour video is hard. I like to keep mine as much content as possible because I want to watch these later in life and enjoy them later. Yeah, I'm not looking for just a little 6-7 minute video. I want the whole thing. That way I can see what it was like back when I used to ride. Now 20 years from now I'll be able to look back and enjoy these videos. But it takes a long time to edit. I like doing the voiceover of the whole video. I like to know what I was thinking, like this downhill, really choppy section through here. You know, you're fatigued at this point. How am I feeling? Still stressed out of the trees. It's still tight, even at the end here. Trying to stay on the course. It's tough. Those trees are so damn close to the handlebars. So even at the end, you think you're gonna have an easy finish. Nope, it's tight all the way. This trail right up here is gave way a little bit. Looked like right there, real choppy. I mean, bike went over it like nothing, but visually I saw it coming up, and just instantly you think, all right, don't get bucked off, don't lose control of the bike, go off to the right. But doing the voiceover, I like to do it the whole video. You know, I'm not looking to do a 6 or 7 minute video. If you guys are still with me at the race, and that's awesome. You like watching these videos like I do, then you and me are at the same level. We like watching these videos.
Lost their kickstand.
Yeah, I lost the bike part back there. Kickstand. The black one. Looked like maybe from a husky. A couple of those logs still across. You got to duck down. That was one of the lower ones. So you couldn't be standing up. You had to duck down for that. Like this little fast sections through here. I'm telling you, that bobbing and weaving, it wears you out. Stresses me out, the weaving through the trees, because you're dodging the trees is stressful. So it's nice. Just having a little bit of a straightaway, but I don't have to worry about smacking a tree. Look at this section. All these trees they had to cut out. Man, there's like 100 of them through here. These guys put on a lot of work. Desert guys got it easy. All he's got to do is tie a bunch of ribbons to a bush. They don't have to cut any trees, clear any rocks, or anything like that. These forest guys, these forest motorcycle clubs, really put in a lot of work. The volunteers are pretty diehard. I'm not saying we all aren't diehard. I'm just saying, man, they'd have to cut all these trees up. Of course, the hard enduro guy in me just says, let them be. We got to get the clubs to start doing hard enduros. I don't know what it's going to take. We only got a handful of hard enduros in the whole United States. We got hundreds of motocross races. You got sprint enduros, hair scrambles all over the place. We need more hard enduros. People love the hard enduros, and the sport's only getting bigger. With the world scene, you got Erzberg just happened, and that's the world's probably the most famous hard enduro is Erzberg in Austria. And I watched. I'm that diehard. It was at 2:30 in the morning. I got up and watched it. It's the next day, so the day after this race, at 2:30 in the morning, I was up watching Erzberg. And my favorite guy, Graham Jarvis. He's 48 years old. Started second row. Still finished 6th place. That is just awesome. He doesn't have the top end speed that the leaders got, that Manny and that Billy got, but technicality wise on the hard sections, he's right there with them. I mean, if not better than them. So it's still so much fun to see him ride. But Billy, Manny Letbeckler, Manny, he got first. Billy, he had the lead most of the race until he made a bad line choice, and he just used a lot of energy, and then he bashed his exhaust plate and lost a lot of power from the bike, he said. So a lot of the hill climbs, he had to take it easy. Kind of had to limp into second place, and then Tristan Hart got third. And I've done a race where Tristan lapped me, I think, 4 times. He's a beast. He dominates the North American scene on hard enduro. And to see him get beat, God, those guys are just a whole nother level. It's just amazing. Look how pretty it is through here. It's like neon green forest through here. The camera footage, it looks that, in real life, it looks that neon green. It's just crazy looking. Bob and weave, bob and weave. There's no letting up. Right here, little climb, I almost lose control. Right there. You see the bike was tilting left. That was another one dodge. Had a lot of saves today where I could have ate it pretty bad. Yeah, it almost was, but saved it. See that missed shift right there? I told you guys earlier I was having trouble with my shifter. My shifter's it's all floppy and worn out, so I go to shift and it's just not going. It's doing the half shift, going into neutral instead of second gear.
That shortcut last time. Woo.
Nice little chunky downhill. Look at this rocks. Just gotta let that bike roll though. If you go too slow, it makes it harder. You gotta actually have some speed, some carrying with it through the rocks, and just letting that bike roll. The suspension does all the work. Up on the pegs, and it's really not that hard. If you go slow through those sections, they become harder. Back to the sprint enduro though, I definitely like this format, especially as this one's hardcore as it was. giving you little breaks in between the transit areas. It's just so nice. But I would like to try some other style races as well, so I'll be looking at other races to try out. I just try a whole bunch out, see which ones I like. I having fun one I don't like. I like them all. I like racing. I like riding single track, trail riding too. Just whatever it takes to get out on the bike, and the racing really tests you. Like if you're wanting to build your skill, enter a race. They're a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are getting nervous for the races. Don't get nervous. Just have a good time on the ride. You can treat the race like a trail ride if you want. That's what I do. I mean, I'm pushing my limit for sure, but I treat it like I was out for a trail ride. I'm just having a good time. Alright folks, we're going to bring this one to an end. Hope you enjoyed it. The Fool's Gold Sprint Enduro, I'll give it 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend this one. Finding this type of terrain in a race on this conditions are just amazing. I had such a good time. And the crew put on a good show. Very friendly. They had pizza for me when I checked in. They gave me a VIP parking spot right in front, which is real nice. But until next video, get out and ride and get some.